Welcome to the Butterfly Effect. It's a stage 6 of La Vuelta, the Tour de Spain. I woke up this morning thinking I was going to watch the time trial for the Giro to see who wins this year's edition. Flipped on the Vuelta to watch on the second computer at the same time. Immediately I realized it was going to be an exciting stage, so I flipped to the Vuelta and I'll come back to the Giro later. Today's stage, 145 plus K of racing. They start off in sunshine and dry, but within 80 kilometers of the stage, the weather changes and rain starts to fall. That's why I've brought the rain jackets out, so that I can talk about them later to you guys and explain why everyone's having so much problems putting their rain jackets on compared to what I originally started with Francis de Jure in 1997 up to the newer years with Radio Shack taking you up to 2013, 14, and 15, and 16. These kind of jackets existed. This was the norm back in the day. Just a clear plastic rain jacket is what I had to start my career off with, and that was absolutely miserable. You would put it on and immediately it would steam up. You would start sweating and just feeling the heat. It was absolutely terrible. The only thing this plastic jacket's good for is if you don't own one of the other ones. So hopefully you got something better than plastic. These other jackets were really nice. This first one way back in 97 though was just enormous. You could put it on easy though. So like when you saw stage 18 of the Giro and Jai Hindley was having problems getting his jacket on, it was because he has the new editions that are super tight and well fitted. The old edition slipped on. You never had that problem, but you went slow as hell after you were wearing it and probably got sent straight out the back of the group if you continued to wear it when the guys were really fully racing. So they all go with the narrow cut fit now to get away from the wind drag that the old ones put on. And I'll set those up for you later and show you the actual difference in fit on me right now of what it looks like and how it's changed so much. Now let's get to the bike racing because we're 80K into it. There's a 22, 23 plus rider break up the road. The rain's starting to fall. Jumbo Visma's doing a great job. They're just setting tempo back there. They're keeping the break 3.5, 4 minutes. Gorka Izagirre from Astana is in the break, and he's a threat because he's around 3.5, 3:45 back on the general classification in the top 20 anyways. Not a big threat because he's not climbing fantastically, but he can get the jersey, and Primoz Roglic has already talked about in this Vuelta wanting to keep that red jersey from stage 1 all the way to the finish because it's so rare to actually have a rider that can wear a leader's jersey from start to finish. Okay, let's get further into the stage. Now we're 30K into the stage. Astana is sending Gorka Izagirre up the road. This part is what I can't understand. Gorka Izagirre has his brother, Ion Izagirre, also in the break with him. Now there's multiple riders in the break with multiple teammates. So you look, EF Education has 2, UAE Emirates has 2, Quickstep has 2, Astana has 2 of course, and Cofidis have not 2 but 3 riders in the break. When I look at this stage, I would always see missed opportunities. I look at the break of being just enormous in size. Right away they're rotating through at a steady pace. Doesn't look like they're throwing down hard, but they're going through steady, so everything's fine. Once the gap gets to 3.5, 4 minutes, that gap stays there. I would love to see one time in my career where the break just decides they're just going to blow it up and race as hard as they can. Now, Cofidis has 3 guys. Their leader in that breakaway should be Guillaume Martin. Okay, he was 5th the first 2 weeks at the Tour de France. That boy can climb. There's absolutely no doubt about it. They're finishing up a very hard, steep climb. I know I did it in 2013, and in 2013 it blew up. Just like today's stage, 2013 blew up. It was dry and sunny, and it still blew up into pieces, and we finished in 1s and 2s, and I gained time on Vincenzo Nibali that particular day. So I know the climb. It's very difficult. I don't understand why when you have 3 Cofidis riders, 2 can't go on the front and drive it. I don't understand when you have Astana and they have 2 riders and 1 could be in the red leader's jersey at the end of the stage. why his brother just doesn't go to the front and drive it. Now, hindsight, we know his brother wins the stage, so you can always argue, well, they were perfect. They were perfect in the fact if your only objective was to win the stage. But when Gorka Izagirre's attacking with 30K to go, I'm just asking myself, why are you sending Gorka? Why not send his brother? Clearly, Gorka has good legs. He's in the top 20 of a Grand Tour right now. We all know he can climb. We all know he's a breakaway specialist. So why are you sending him up the road, 30K out from the break? There's no way he's going to gain time on the field solo by himself to be able to take that red jersey. Put his brother on the front, drive it as hard as you can, have Gorka go for the stage win and the red jersey later. Instead, they opt for the other way. They win the stage. Ion Izagirre got a beautiful picture of winning the stage. Congratulations. You still had to beat those best guys in the break. So that tactic gets you something. But the other one is missed opportunities. And I saw missed opportunities throughout this whole stage. Same thing. Ineos has one rider in the front break, Dylan. I can't understand when Ineos is always trying to put the red jersey under pressure. If you're trying to put him under pressure, you have Gorka Izagirre in the break that's only 3.5 minutes. Go ahead and just ride Dylan the whole time as hard as you can. Even if he gets dropped on the last climb, who cares? It brings the time out. Now again, I talked about Kofidis ride, and I've talked about a reason for Astana to ride. Now I'm talking about a reason for Ineos in the breakaway to ride. That's 3 different teams. Let's throw in a fourth. EF Education. They have 2 riders in the break. One is Michael Woods. We all know Michael Woods is a fabulous rider. He's gone great in Grand Tours. He's been second at the World Championships. He's won one-day races. We all know he's strong, and we know he can climb. So why not run your second EF Education rider on the front of the break, all out, bring Woodsy into the very last climb, and let him work his magic and win the stage? Instead, they don't. They just rotate through like normal. Easy pace, set it there. Before the last climb even starts, Michael Woods is jumping away on the flatter parts of the course. Michael Woods is a great rider, guys. There's no reason for him to be attacking on the flat part of the course when you have a summit finish climb coming up that's going to be 5-6K long. If a group goes on the flatter part and he follows, perfect. But to go solo, to actually be causing the split to happen, I don't understand why he did that when you can just wait for the best part of the course that features your physique, your style of ride, your aggressive ride. Wait for the steepest section of the course. Like I told you, I've done this finish. It's incredibly steep and incredibly hard. If you're the best rider in that break, which Michael Woods should be very much one of the favorites in that break, first, but certainly top 3 or 4 in that break, I got to believe I'm taking my odds if I'm EF, put my guys on the front, drive it into the last climb, let Michael Woods work his magic. That's 4 different teams that I mentioned right there alone that could have just been riding the front, all out, 100% motivated, and extending that time gap as far out as you can. Because remember, the time that they started, when they start going up that last climb, when they have 2 minutes, when they're at that distance, you're still not even guaranteed you're racing for the stage win at that moment. But if they start riding way back at 80 kilometers from the finish, all out, I gotta believe they start that last climb 5-6 minutes. I gotta believe if that's the case and Jumbo-Visma really want to keep that red jersey, Jumbo-Visma is going to be riding the front like crazy all out. They're going to start wasting their domestiques and all their pawns, and they're going to be left with, of course, just one Sepp Kuss and George Bennett maybe in order to take Primoz Roglic all the way to the line. Now the Ineos boys from behind can start attacking because he's isolated. Movistar, which have multiple guys in the top 10, and they had one guy in the break, so that's a 5th team in the break that could have been working to put pressure on Jumbo-Visma, which would leave their 3 leaders that are in the top 10, top 15 right now on GC to be able to attack an isolated Primoz Roglic. Right now the stage finished. We know Ion Izagirre won the stage. Fabulous win. Hats off. You got the stage win. Some other missed opportunities, but you got the stage win. Now Carapaz has the red jersey, but you only got a 30-second lead over Primoz Roglic. I got to ask myself right now, was Primoz Roglic only bad on the last climb because of the mechanical he had and having to chase? The video is very bad. I can't describe because we didn't actually get to see it on TV. We only got one moment when finally Primož Roglič with his last teammate has to leave his teammate and jump across to the front group of favorites. When he does that, I cannot stress that is a massive amount of energy being used to go across to the Movistar-led squad at the front. They know he's back there. They're driving it as hard as they possibly can. And Primož Roglič, and if he needed to leave his team, which we saw him do on TV for a brief moment and jump across and finish closing that little gap, you know Jumbo-Visma were going 100% back there, and he was going 100%. Primož Roglič himself had to be going 100% to close that gap, and there wasn't much time to recover when you're going uphill, and Jumbo-Visma's riding 100% on the front. So, Carapaz has a 30-second lead. I got to ask myself, what if? What if they had been put under pressure because Dylan Van Baarle was up in the break, adding pressure? How much help would Primož Roglič have had on the finish of that stage if they were put under more pressure and Jumbo-Visma has been hurting even harder than they are right now? Now I'm going to cut the video. I'm going to try on a couple of the rain jackets and I'll show you the difference in the fit. All right, guys, so here's the rain jackets. I put on one of my old Frances de Jure jersey. Just barely fits. This used to be actually loose back here in the day. At that time, I had arms about that big. I'm about 20 pounds heavier now. So this is what we have. So this is from Frances de Jure. This is what we were racing with in the 90s. The big problem with this, yes, they are warm. The problem is they're just too wide and too loose. When you put it on, the nice thing is, look how easy. I just slip in like that, and I'm in the jacket, no problem. Zip it up. All jackets run either with a zipper or they run with Velcro. Velcro's nice. Zipper I prefer most of the time, but Velcro, if you're actually in a hurry, works good because boom, 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 you're done and it's over. But what happens, this stuff starts to get wet and it's hanging down like this, right? It's dragging. This starts to drag. As the clothing gets wetter and wetter, this old jackets really dragged a ton and carried a lot of weight and weighed a lot when you soak them in water. And that's what you're doing when you're riding in the rain. Everything's soaking and you're adding kilos to you throughout the day with more and more moisture coming on you, and the weight will start to add up when you're a small guy racing like I was. So this is the old style jacket. Now I'll show you what they have for the new styles. I brought out one of the ASO jackets here. This one's super new, really super cut and stuff. But this one, very warm too. But the problem is it's almost too warm for racing. Better for training and stuff. But those jackets are crazy expensive. And I would only use those really when I know I can take it off and breathe again. What I preferred was super thin like this. This one came Velcro, so it was easy to put on. But it's a much tighter fit. So when your arms are going back over your head and you're rolling at 30 miles an hour with the wind, look how tight it is right here to get this arm in here. That's why on the Giro Stage 18, we saw Jai Hindley have so much problems. All right, this one's Velcro, so it goes quick. Boom, boom, and done just like that. I got to leave the top open for the mic for you guys. Okay, but look at the Aero fit here. Also, this is thinner material now. The old days was easily 2-3 times thicker than this and not any warmer. Now it's thinner, more water resistant and water repellent. It won't weigh as much when it gets wet like the old ones did. Probably half the weight. Smaller, easier, more compact. So when I take it off, I pull it off. It is tight still, so when you're going 30 miles an hour, you got to be careful. When I pull it off and it's off like this, now it'll roll up and it'll fit in the back pocket versus the old days. Those big ones never fit in the back pocket. You had to stuff them underneath your jersey, and then they were filling up your jersey and putting more and more pressure on you. So that's the major differences between the 90s and, of course, today's bike racing. Hope you enjoyed the butterfly effect. See you guys on the next edition of the Vuelta real soon.